Hello, and you are listening to The Book Was Better, the podcast where we talk about the book of the film. I'm Luke.
I am Sabrina.
And this week we're talking about Jingle All the Way.
Hey you, put down the popcorn and turn on the light. It's gonna be alright, my friend. In the end, take my hand. Trust me, the book was better.
Jingle all the way.
Is that your generic other voice?
No, that's my Schwarzengger. You
It
couldn't
sounds
tell?
like the same voice you used to read the Amazon
reviews. It's a little bit Schwarzenegger-y. We're both going to break out our Schwarzeneggers today,
Yeah,
aren't we?
definitely. I think my vocal register goes lower than yours, so
Yeah, possibly.
I'm going to emasculate you for an hour.
You want take me to the cooler. You know, like at the beginning of Total Recall when he's just like... So yeah, Christmas. It is Christmas, kind of. December anyway.
Yay!
And all December, we're doing Christmas stuff.
Merry Christmas!
Except for the last episode, which, I'll say it now, just to get people amped, is going to be another novelization writing challenge, which is going to be very exciting. So, yeah, Jingle All the Way, a film starring Schwarzenegger and Baby Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, I noticed that in the film.
Jake Lloyd.
Yeah, he did an equally good job in the film as he did in
didn't he?
episode 1.
And Sinbad.
Yeah, I never heard of Sinbad before. Does he just have one name?
He just has one name, like Madonna and Prince
Does he?
and Garfield.
Is he associated with ships in any way?
No, he's not a sailor, but he's a comedian, and yeah, his name is just Sinbad.
I didn't realise he was a comedian. He wasn't very funny in the film.
Oh, and Phil Hartman in this as well. Rest in peace.
Was that Ted?
Yeah, the neighbour.
Yeah.
You know Phil Hartman? Troy McClure in The Simpsons?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his wife shot him. Murdered him.
Oh my god.
Yeah, probably not that long after this film, actually.
Jeez.
I know. That brought down the whole mood,
Yeah, this
didn't
is just going to be depressing.
Depressing?
For an hour of depression.
Yours is pretty good. I like yours. We're going to have a big old Schwarzenegger off.
Look, mine's probably going to turn into an Indian accent. Everything just merges in. Like, I'm the worst at accents. It's just like, people are like, what are you doing? And I just curl up into a ball and it's the end of it.
I like that because a lot of podcasts, you know, they're comedians, professional comedians presenting them. And when they do impressions, they like really do impressions. Like they do everything just spot on.
Yeah.
Whereas we don't give a fuck about that. Like we're just here. We're just going to throw it down. If it doesn't sound right, it doesn't matter. We're just going to...
Good.
You know,
the pressure's off.
just going to do our thing.
Excellent.
Because you know why? Because there are no stakes with this podcast. We've got absolutely nothing to lose. There's like 7 belligerent listeners out there. And who gives a crap what they think, right?
Alright, so.
Merry Christmas, everyone! Did you know, and I didn't know this until I started to read the book and watch the film, which I did simultaneously for the first time. It was kind of cool. There is a Jingle All the Way 2, and I was thinking, bullshit, there's a Jingle All the Way 2, and it came out on Tuesday.
What?
Yeah.
Last Tuesday?
Yeah, like Tuesday, like 2 days ago.
Because it's on Pirate Bay.
Oh, well,
Not that
I wouldn't know
ever
about
used that website to watch this movie.
But it's starring Larry the Cable Guy.
Who's Larry the Cable Guy?
He's like this redneck comedian whose whole deal is that he's a redneck. And he does like comedy specials and movies. He's in also like, he's in The Tooth Fairy 2. So the first one was The Rock.
Was that straight to DVD?
Yeah, and then the same with Jingle All the Way too. But the thing is, he plays Larry
Look, I have a creaky
in
chair.
both those films. That's alright. Just pretend it's a boat. Just try and keep still.
Sorry, okay, Larry.
We're in a creaky boat in the middle of the ocean. Yeah, so Larry the Cable Guy. You might know him. He's best known to mainstream audiences, certainly international audience, as Mater in Cars, the tow truck.
I haven't watched Cars.
No, you gotta see Cars.
Do I really?
No, it's awful.
What about Planes?
Planes, yeah,
Do
I
any
love
see
planes.
Planes?
That's excellent.
Is it really?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I've never seen it.
Oh, okay.
Never seen Cars 2 either. I only watched the beginning. But that's another show.
Maybe we should do a book that's better about cars.
Well, I'd like to, but I can't find it anywhere.
Oh. Has it not been made?
No, it has, but I just don't have a copy. I'd have to buy it. I want to get an ebook. I like doing ebooks.
Maybe someone's like found all the copies and burned them.
Maybe. But I have a lot of questions about cars. We've talked about that before on the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know because
You don't listen. Oh, man, this is going pear-shaped. This is a big old lump of coal in the stocking, right? No, not really. So David Cody and Bobby J.G. Weiss are the married couple who brought us other novelizations such as Space Jam and the Lizzie McGuire movie.
And you've done both of those.
Yes, we have. And other works as well, original works such as Changeling Diapers. Not changing, changeling.
I'm very confused.
You know what changeling is?
It's a thing that changes.
It's like a shapeshifter, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And Hero, Dragon Warrior, Battle at Mount Kumado, parentheses, Phonics Comics, Volume 18, Issue 2, close parentheses.
Like the length of a title, like it's sort of inversely proportional to the quality of the book.
I think you might have discovered a new
and the number
trope.
of colons also.
Yeah.
Although there's only one in this one.
That's
true. And we've
true.
seen ones with 2 colons, I think.
But it makes up for it in other areas. And, there's even in this book, there's an About the Authors section at the end where David claims to be stolen by gypsies as a child. What a prankster, right? And Bobby J. Weiss was delivered Christmas morning by a reindeer instead of a stork. And also proudly notes that her work includes trading cards, CD-ROMs, and dumb little comic strips for orange juice cartons. Talking about living the dream here.
How do you make a CD-ROM?
Do you remember CD-ROMs? Did you ever have CD-ROMs?
Well, I had CD-ROMs, but how do you make... was it a game or?
No, like CD-ROMs are generally, I don't mean like just like a CD, like a disc.
Yeah.
CD-ROMs
But what's on the CD?
Well, they were usually like, I had one called Star Wars Magic of Myth, I think it was called. And it was like a series of just digital things. Like there were behind the scenes footage.
Oh.
There was little sort of mini games. There were desktop wallpapers and stuff. There was scripts with trivia notes. All the sorts of things that now you would get on the internet or on special features on a Blu-ray or something.
Oh, right.
But because neither of those things existed, you would just get them on a CD-ROM.
Oh, okay.
And it would be just like this package of crap that you would now get for free, but you would pay like a premium for.
Wow. It's impressive work.
Yeah. And I wondered if this was interesting as well. This is about Jingle All the Way film. This is from IMDb. See what you think of this. In March 2001, a US District Court jury in Birmingham, Michigan ruled that 20th Century Fox stole the script idea Jingle All the Way from Detroit high school biology teacher Brian Webster. The studio was ordered to pay $19 million, later reduced to $1.5 million. Webster submitted the script, then named Could This Be Christmas, to the studio in 1994 and never received payment or credit despite the film making $183 million. Fox appealed, and the verdict was reversed since Webster's script was submitted after the studio had already purchased a treatment of what would become the film script. The court acknowledged that it is not difficult to believe that 2 writers can independently create a plot using similar inspiration/experience.
Wow.
That would have been a roller coaster of emotions for this biology teacher for a start, to be awarded millions of dollars and then have it taken away. I just can't imagine anyone willing to publicly admit that they came up with the idea for Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised that anyone did come up with that.
It's actually supposedly based on the Cabbage Patch Kid frenzies of the 80s.
Oh, okay.
When people would
I was a wee baby.
Run into toy stores and punch each other's lights out in order to secure a child straight from the Cabbage Patch. All right, well,
there's other ways to make children.
Really?
Yeah, I'll tell you about it when you're older.
Can you show me?
Okay.
So, the beginning. Should we read the beginning?
Let's read the book.
Okay, you get us started.
In the television studio of a great metropolitan centre, all the monitors interrupted regular programming with a brightly coloured special bulletin announcement card. An anchorman sped towards his news desk, weaving effortlessly through the seeming chaos of a crew. It's so effortless, that
Yes.
word. Of a crew jumping on a breaking story. Around the desk, cameramen wheeled into position, techs scurried to adjust lights and microphones, and a stage manager counted backward.
5, 4, 3, 2. Instead of saying 1, the stage director silently pointed his index finger directly at the new anchorman, a handsome man with the build of a football player. The anchorman, Ed Maguire, began to speak to the camera.
That's a lot of detail about a character we never see again.
He isn't in the film.
The president, first lady, and their son Billy have been kidnapped by an evil mutant, Dementor. Ed fixed a steely eye on the camera lens, peering into the heart of America.
Through its clogged arteries, presumably?
All across the country, helpless citizens are asking one question. The camera zoomed in, the studio monitors filling with Ed's face. Turbo Man, where are you?
And here is your twist, dear listener. Ed ran down the hall towards a storage room near the studio, loosening his tie and shucking off his jacket on the way. Why don't you just shuck off, jacket?
Like an oyster.
Yeah. A moment later, a flash of jet-propelled red and gold zoomed out of the storage room window and up into the sky. America's question had been answered. Turbo Man was on the way. Now, if only we could answer America's other biggest question. Where's the beef? Still a mystery.
Maybe Turbo Man is the beef.
I think he is definitely on the beefy side.
The hot beef. He is the handsome man with the build of a football player.
So the president and the first lady and their son are being marched through a rocky landscape by alien troopers, and I got to admit, I totally read the description of the first lady wrong.
His wife, with her impeccable wardrobe, her stylishly coiffed hair, and her much tucked face.
Yeah, did you read that as a much fucked face?
No, I didn't, actually.
just
That's
me.
just your sick mind.
Much
I was
fucked
thinking
face.
her face was kind of tucked. You know, like, cushion. You know those leather couches that have studs in them?
Yes.
Kind of like tucked.
I thought her face had been much fucked because it had a leather-clad stud in it. Anyway, look,
No words.
the evil Dementor cannot get his shit straight.
Dementor punched buttons and flipped switches to arm the mega cannon. As he worked, Dementor called over his shoulder, "In a few minutes, my nigger gun will be fully activated."
Old lady Dementor. So, was it a mega cannon or a nega gun? I don't have a lot of confidence in this scheme.
That's very negative.
Yes,
Like the nigger gun.
the nega gun.
It's a negative gun.
is
That's what I thought.
Very negative vibes coming out of that
Maybe
gun.
they spelled mega gun wrong.
Could do. It's not very consistent. Turbo Man turns up with his pink saber-toothed tiger booster. Now, as soon as I read this is when I realised I had to watch the film, because I was like, I don't remember this pink saber-toothed tiger booster. And ironically, watching it this time, Booster had the most impact on me than any other character for reasons that we will get into soon. And in this this is the film within the film. This is a TV show, spoilers. Booster's a shitty, pink mascot costume that looks a bit like Snagglepuss. And this whole sequence in the film is distilled into about 30 seconds. And it just sort of cuts in when Turbo Man boosts in. You don't see the news report or anything like that.
Yeah.
Even though in the film it takes up 5 pages of shitty dialogue where they call each other things like pathetic do-gooder and jokes about raising taxes and stuff. It's just awful. So yes, it turns out to all be on TV, being watched by the massive-headed baby Jake Lloyd.
Who's Anakin Skywalker?
Yes, one of his 2 roles.
He actually looks really awkward now. I looked up his IMDb page because I just wanted to check it was
Yeah.
him. He looks really like adolescence.
Well, we met him a couple of years ago at a convention. Suzanne and I
really?
had a chat to him. And
What's he like?
He's very shy and very awkward.
Oh.
And he's very defensive. And I think it's because he's had people all through college and stuff just give him a lot of shit about the film.
You mean this film or stuff?
No, Phantom Menace.
Oh.
You can imagine, kids can
The
be
poor
cruel.
guy, if he's already shy, that would have made him worse.
Yeah, so he did a panel and he did a talk. And he walked around the stage with his back to us a lot, looking at his
Oh.
feet, sort of shuffling around. And he was defensive to the point where people would ask, because, people ask questions in a panel, would say things like, what's your favourite movie? And he'd go, I don't want to say, I don't want to answer that because, people on the internet, they take these things out of context and they run with them. No, I don't want to answer that. And so many things he was just uncomfortable talking about, which is fair enough. Like, have your privacy, but then why are you there?
That's really sad.
It is sad.
I don't want to make fun of him anymore. I feel like...
No, and he was a really nice guy. Like, we quite enjoyed talking to him, and I understand how difficult that would all be. And, people were obviously pricks to him. So hopefully that gets easier as it goes on. And I think, there are people that do these kind of roles in these films and sort of divorce it for quite a while. But then they get to a point where they kind of embrace it and go, okay, this is what I did and I can see the fun in it.
And he was younger at the time.
Yeah.
And maybe not so good at acting.
What you find often with those celebrities in those kind of environments is they can come in and you can look at them. I remember seeing the MacGyver guy come in.
Oh, yeah?
And he had like big shaggy hair and he was really fat and it was just awkward and it was like, oh shit, this isn't what we were expecting. But he was so self-depreciating, so funny, so charismatic that it was completely disarming. So, if you'd gone in cynically thinking, oh, here's this, B-list washed up person, you actually come out going, now I know the real person behind this and he's a really cool guy. And I wish Jake Lloyd could just lighten up about it and easy for me to say. But, have some fun with it. And
Mr. MacGyver, he's kind of got age behind his side.
Yeah,
maybe,
you're right.
He hasn't sort of come into his own yet. Because, as you go through this is getting really serious, but as you go through adolescence, you kind of develop your sense of identity, and I think he's probably still struggling with that at the moment.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I've forgotten his name, but MacGyver's probably like, oh yeah, this is me.
Yeah, and just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Because, if he could come in and make the audience laugh and sort of, paint the whole experience as an amusing thing.
Yeah, not take himself so seriously.
And an experience, then I think he'd get everyone on his side.
So back to the book.
8-year-old Jamie Langston didn't leave his place in front of the television set. "But Dad's not home yet," he shouted back to his mother. Liz Langston glanced at the clock on the wall. She tried the cheerful approach. "Hey, he's just running a little late, honey. He's probably going to meet us there straight from work. Now go on." Jamie looked back at the TV as the commercials ended. "That's what he always says." A look of disappointment filled his face. "He promised we'd go together." Now, isn't like every single kids film, especially where a celebrity's, playing a dad, I'm thinking Eddie Murphy, Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey, anybody, and they have a young kid, they are always overworked. They never have time for the kid, and they are constantly disappointing them until some fanciful thing happens within the film. And, hey, slugger, I'm going to spend more time with you because I realise my family's more important, etc. Like, it's got to be one of the most overworked tropes in film history, and certainly comes up so many times in these books. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, how do screenwriters have the balls to just keep churning this same plot out again and again and again?
I think I don't know, I feel like they don't really show any appreciation for the fact that the dad, the mum's clearly not working, and the dad's like the breadwinner, and he's working hard for the family. Like, there's zero appreciation from this little shit.
Yeah. Like,
you know why his dad didn't make it? He's not fucking the secretary. He's working. He's, like, making money for the family.
He's selling those mattresses. When little Jake Lloyd sits down and eats his toast, who does he think won that bread?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Making all that dough. And sure enough, Howard Langston, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, is hunched over working at his desk.
The office had the feel of a command post. 3 fax machines, 2 computers, and 3 printers fed constant updates about the sales front into the little room.
Why the fuck would you need 3 printers if you only have 2 computers?
Actually, I didn't think about that.
I can't see the need for that.
That's a lot of printers.
And, like, when you get a fax, would you be getting... I don't know. Like,
Can't
would you need 3 fax machines?
No. Couldn't you do a fax and printer machine? One of those 5-in-1... Do they have those back then?
I don't know. I don't like fax machines. I'm really suspicious of them.
Suspicious?
I am. And, like, that's the thing I hate most in Back to the Future 2, is that it's the future and they've got flying cars, but they still use fax machines.
Well, they still use them in the hospital system.
Yeah, right.
I don't know why, but I prefer email,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. People can pretend they never got your faxes.
Think of the environment. Damn it. And here is our description of Arnold.
Howard was a big, burly man. With his aggressive size and the symbols of his business card and home life surrounding him, there wasn't much space left in the small office.
Not much space to fit in with this large, muscular man.
His size was aggressive.
It definitely was.
I've got a pretty aggressive size as well.
Yeah, I know what that's like.
Taking up the office.
We'll have across the bear. And look, here is a bit of Schwarzenegger dialogue that I thought we could practice our accents with. This is his rousing speech to his employees. So why don't we both have a shot at this?
Listen to me very carefully. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve, so I want you to get some rest, but not too much, because right after the holiday, we've got to get right back to work.
Howard's fist shot into the air. Harder than ever. Let's make Langston mattresses #1.
A cheer grew.
Remember our motto. They snooze, we win. You snooze, we lose.
Oh,
we lose. We lose.
Oh, God. This is bad.
Yeah, do you remember in Batman and Robin when he had about 300 puns about the cold?
Yeah, I like that though.
I did too, and I kind of was hoping that he was going to do that with mattresses in this film. Like, want big savings? Better spring into action. Or, can't use a mattress? Why don't you sleep on it?
They're great.
Yeah.
They're great. I like that. You should write films for Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay. Alright, I'm off, guys. Apparently that's what I should be doing. I'm going to go do that. No, I'll do it tomorrow. So Schwarzenegger is literally racing to get to his son's karate class on time, weaving through traffic, recklessly endangering lives and abusing the emergency lane like a total asshole, until the point where the cops actually have to pull him over. And this wonderfully efficient American sobriety takes place. Like in Australia, you get breathalyzed, blow into the bag, takes about 30 seconds. American police, however, apparently have the luxury to spend 30 minutes doing this.
Do they still do that?
I have no idea.
Because, it just seems stupid. Anyway, you make me walk the line. You've made me touch my nose. You've made me walk the line while touching my nose. Are we finished?
Recite the alphabet, snapped Hummel. Backward.
Not backward.
Schwarzenegger has battled a lot of tough enemies in the past. I'm thinking like Batman, Predator, the T-1000, but surely the alphabet is his toughest enemy yet. Like, he's never going to be able to handle it. Like,
Yeah.
even if he was stone cold sober, he's not going to be able to do the alphabet frontways, let alone backwards. I feel like this is totally unfair and doesn't prove anything.
He's got to get to the chopper.
Go ahead, get to the chopper. So Schwarzenegger is in the doghouse, and his neighbour Ted, as we said, played by Phil Hartman, totally emasculates him by putting up Christmas lights on Schwarzenegger's house without asking, and taunting him about missing karate.
I felt like the Schwartz was almost abusive with how controlling he is about his wife and his house. Like, wouldn't it be okay if his wife just let Ted put some Christmas lights up? Like, he hasn't even talked to his wife yet. And the house belongs to her as well.
I know, but then, what if, Ted wants to put a Yule log in a fire, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like at this point in the book, you just don't know anything about them. So I when I read that, I thought that was completely unreasonable.
Just a step away from wanting to, slide a candy cane into her mouth.
Oh, God.
Put something in have a bit of a rummage around in her stocking.
That's Christmas spirit right there.
Yeah. His wife, Liz, is really pissed that he missed the karate. And as for Jamie, Jake Lloyd...
Hey, buddy.
Howard greeted Jamie. Jamie didn't look away from the TV screen, where a commercial for the Turbo Man action figure promised endless enjoyment and peer acceptance.
Did it actually say that in the book?
That's what it says in the book.
That's crazy.
It promised endless enjoyment and peer acceptance. That's your ticket in to the
Wow.
cool club, a doll. And here's another American family trope. Jamie sat on his bed over intently reading a Turbo Man comic book. Howard fainted and jabbed at the air.
Hey, kiddo, are those hands registered weapons yet?
Howard asked cheerfully. So what's this thing about American dads, always taking great pride in their kids' ability to beat the shit out of other kids?
Natural selection.
Yeah, the Flash TV series?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I watched about 5 minutes of that, and it was a flashback, and the Flash was a little kid. And he's like, the bullies were after me, Mom, but I guess I couldn't run fast enough. Yeah, you know, like exposition.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Oh.
And then his dad comes in, and he can see the kid's been in a fight, and he's like, so, Slugger, did you win? And the mum, like, looks at him, and he's like, what? And it's like, this dad's just glorifying, like, violence. You know, if you can't solve a problem, just punch it in the face.
Yeah.
And I just went, oh, fuck you, Flash. And I just turned it off. I didn't watch it. So, Howard Negger needs to buy Jamie's love back. Negger. Promising to buy him the deluxe Turbo Man action figure of his dreams.
Johnny next door's gonna get one, and so will everyone else I know.
Jamie looked up at Howard.
Whoever doesn't will be a real loser.
Oh, how times have changed. Like, don't you reckon if this movie was remade today, it would be the father who was the one hunting down the rare action figure for himself to put in his own collection?
Yeah.
And he would be the loser, while the son would be, like, just playing on his iPhone, playing on his iPhone and not giving a shit either way.
Yeah, I don't think toys are as popular with kids now as they used to be.
No way.
I reckon they're more into technology and games and stuff.
For sure. It's just like sad old men like me that collect toys. And this book is mostly just script. Like, it really is just dialogue with very little added. So there weren't a lot of descriptions here. But luckily for us, the script is really great. It's really well written. So here are the high stakes. As Howard lies in bed with his cold, loveless wife, she asks him if he bought the doll already, and he lies.
The Turbo Man doll with the thing that shoots and the Rock'em Sock'em jetpack.
A yawn halted him for a second.
And the realistic voice box that says, "It's turbo time." Of course I got the doll.
Good, said Liz, rolling over and putting out the light, because at this point, they'd probably be impossible to find.
In the dark, Howard's eyes snapped open.
Holy shit, son. Things just got very real.
I actually love, like, Arnold's bug-eyed, eye-opening thing in the film. I just think it's so classic.
There's nothing subtle about it, is it? It's like you watched Macaulay Culkin do that Home Alone scream.
And the camera, pans in as well.
And was like, that is comedy. I can do that. And the next day is Christmas Eve, and he lies against his wife that he's left the doll at the office. And Jamie is there, so he says D-O-L-L to his wife. This kid is 8 years old, and he can't spell doll. The American school system has failed them.
Yeah, I know someone who's got a dog that can spell out words. They're like W-A-L-K, and the dog's like, and it can spell other words as well. It's great.
Like pneumonia ultra microscopic silicoconiosis.
Did you make that up?
No, that's a medical term.
You made it up.
I did not. So the Schwarz heads out the door and says to his wife,
"I'll be back."
And I thought this was a very common Christmas occurrence. I found this bit relatable, at least.
Howard was standing in his driveway, about to open the car door, when he heard an odd grunting noise behind him. When he turned around to look, he found a live reindeer charging at him.
Yeah, so Phil Hartman has bought a reindeer to impress his kids. You can just, it really is the land of the free. You can just do anything you want in that country.
Yeah. I
don't even know where you'd get it. Probably Walmart has a reindeer section.
Reindeer's not just for Christmas, though.
That's true. They're for life. But Americans are great hunters as well, and that's another part of their freedom. So you enjoy it over the break.
And then have it up on your wall.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really like those reindeer heads on walls. I mean, they don't have to be real, but...
Yeah, I've got an imaginary one up there, but it's not quite the same. So it's better when they're real.
Okay.
You did look.
I almost looked. I almost checked the room. Oh, my God.
Do you ever do that when, you see the fire hose reel and you think... Where's the fire hose pretend? Oh, it's right here.
What?
Don't worry.
I get it now.
Waiting for the toy store to open, we meet Myron Larrabee, played by Sinbad, and this is the film's other antagonist.
It was a stocky man in a post office uniform, complete with a bulging mail sack that bumped several people as the mailman turned to face Howard.
Yeah, very glad they clarified that it was a mail sack and not just a bulging sack that was bumping into people.
Oh, yeah.
Getting all up on their chins.
Getting up in their Larrabees.
Myron is a very much a stereotypical crazy mailman who hates the public and is perhaps a little homophobic. He says, "My kids sent me out here for some goofy toy, some fruity robot called Turtle Man." And this gets a little dark here. He then fantasizes about meeting the creator of the character and
squeeze his soft pink little neck until his beady little eyeballs pop right out of their sockets. Then I take his bloated body and... Myron stops suddenly, as if he'd realised that he's gone too far.
Now, this is not all in the film. I think he says strangling him. He doesn't say, about the beady eyeballs popping out. He certainly doesn't mention the bloated body.
I think he does talk about squeezing, and he's actually strangling a lady while he says this, so it has a lot more visual impact.
Just a random lady.
Yeah, a random old lady.
Yeah, this Sinbad character is a problem. And then, typical behaviour ensues. Shoppers climbed over each other in their rush to get to various aisles. Howard saw a man trip and fall. The man's wife turned back for him. The downed man clutched at his leg in pain and waved his wife on. I've never seen this happen in Australia. People knocking over shelves and tasering each other and clawing and fighting like you see on the American news every Black Friday. Have you ever...
Yeah.
I know,
I've heard about that.
Maya will have a big sale here or something, and people will wait for it to open, and
it'll just be crowded.
Run up an escalator. But I've never heard of, somebody
You know why? It's because Australians are apathetic. They're probably at home. They're like, I just can't be bothered leaving the house.
Oh, it's not in arm's reach. I don't fucking want it, mate. And they realise that a short lady left with the last Turbo Man that she had on layaway, so Myron makes his move.
Without warning, Myron slammed Howard in the chest with the bulging mail sack, knocking Howard backward into a display of sporting goods. Myron raced toward the front doors as Howard disappeared under a pile of basketballs and celebrity-endorsed shorts.
Wow, what? Celebrity-endorsed shorts?
That sounds pretty cool. I want some celebrity-endorsed
Which celebrity would you like to endorse your shorts?
Maybe a sports person.
Okay.
I don't care about sports, though. Do you like sports?
No.
Good.
I'd like a different celebrity to endorse my shorts.
Maybe someone who's dead. That would be really cool.
Yeah, for a ghost endorsement. Yeah. My shorts were endorsed from beyond the grave. Vincent Price.
Gonna have to edit some of this out. It's really bad.
Endorses these shorts.
So Howard manages to catch up with this short lady.
Yeah.
And it turns out to be Yardley Smith.
Yes, Lisa Simpson. So another Simpsons alumni in the film.
She's really cute.
And he offers her 3 times what she paid for what's in the bag. But uh-oh.
Howard opened the bag and looked inside. ... To see a fluffy pink booster doll, Howard angrily threw the doll in the nearby trash can.
I thought that was pretty extreme. His son's a fan of the show. You think he might like the second most important character as well. You don't have to throw it out. I felt there was this kind of male posturing. This sort of no son of mine with his whirling fists of fury. He's going to play with some fruity pink pussy doll.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit ridiculous. I mean, he's just paid money for this. He's just throwing it out. I mean, he could have at least, given it to a homeless man, or I don't know.
Gifted it to someone else, but it's like,
I don't or given it back to the lady or something.
My kid to play with this pink cat. It's gonna, mess him up.
Make him a bit fruity.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. And then Howard runs around to many other stores, just, acting like a total fucking maniac.
The Turbo Man stand-up seemed to mock Howard, smiling and waving an automated arm at him. Fed up with frustration, Howard launched a mighty right cross at the stand-up, laying it flat on its back.
Yeah, so he's running around stores, punching things. I did love the pan across the toy aisle in the film here.
Oh, yeah?
Because you actually could see what action figures were out at the time.
I didn't pause to look at what it was.
I paused and had a look, and they were all really crazy things. There was Generation X figures, which was like a, spin-off of X-Men with C-list characters.
Cool.
There was like Hercules figures, like Kevin Sorbo.
Oh, I love Hercules.
There was Ghost Rider, and then there was all this Todd McFarlane Spawn stuff. Just the most fucked up shit imaginable, which is so different to the tone of this film.
That's awesome.
And then neighbour Ted is macking on Liz in the kitchen. He's let himself in. He sends her upstairs to shower, which I thought was a bit strange.
Yeah.
And he takes over her cookies.
He took the apron from her and tied it on, oblivious to the silly picture he made.
I know, a man in an apron.
Oh my
What
gosh.
kind of a fruity fruit is that?
Oh, it's pretty fruity.
Give him a pink booster doll. A lot of stuff about gender roles.
Yeah.
in here.
Yeah. So Howard then calls home and discovers that Ted is there.
Ah, yes. Do you want to be Ted or Arnold?
Or do you want to air your Arnold voice more?
All right, I'll do a bit of Arnold.
Okay. At the last payphone, Howard reluctantly dialed his home number. He inhaled deeply as he rang. Merry Christmas, Langston residents!
You have to do your Troy McClure.
Oh, I'm not good at Troy
Okay, that's
McClure.
all right.
Do you want to do all of it?
No. Hi. The air whooshed out of Howard. Ted?
Howard, hey buddy, said Ted brightly. How you doing out there? Everything okay?
Howard ground his molars. Yeah, fine. Look, I need to speak to Liz. Could you?
The sound of crunching mixed with Ted's reply. Oh, Howard, excuse me. Your wife's cookies are out of this world.
What are you? Who said you could eat my cookies?
I was just helping Liz out a little in the kitchen. She's cooking up a storm here.
Ted, I need to speak to my wife. Please put Liz on the phone.
I think she's in the shower, Howard. Do you want me to go up and check?
No! Howard controlled himself quickly. I mean, no, that's fine. On your way out, tell her I am going to be a few minutes late, but she shouldn't worry.
Oh, she won't worry. Man, I'm here and... Another crunching sound. Oh, wow. Oh, these cookies. I've gotta get the recipe from Liz.
Put that cookie down! Yelled Howard. Now!
So he's been controlling and aggressive again.
He sure is.
Yeah, qualities we should all aspire to.
No Christmas spirit.
No, he's the Grinch.
Your wife's in the shower, Howard. I'm gonna go up there and see if she's clean. All over. No! Put it down!
Put that cookie down.
Put that nookie down! So then Myron and Howard end up at another store, which has a lottery for the remaining figures, and they all fight like animals over the balls.
Like sharks catching the scent of blood in the water, the crowd spun in place and lunged at the hapless mailman. Howard smiled grimly as Myron sank into a whirlpool of clawing hands and thumping fists.
Bunch of savage animals, these shoppers.
Yeah,
It's
getting worse.
It's terrible.
It's like Sharknado, except
is.
Shopper-nado.
Nailed it. A toddler in a stroller gets hold of Howard's ball and puts it in his mouth, and then goes into a ball pit, and the maniac Schwarzengger follows him.
Howard crawled through the tight tubes after the toddler, ignoring the outraged reactions of parents and onlookers who shouted at him and pounded on the side of the maze.
And this is my favourite line in the whole book. Everywhere they looked, there were balls. This book is totally balls, by the way.
It's pretty balls.
That's how Peter Dinklage feels.
I've always, Wait, what?
Because he's short.
Wait, what?
So everywhere he looks, there's balls.
Oh, I'm really slow.
That's alright.
I think I might have an IQ problem.
The jokes are better when I explain them.
I don't think they are. Anyway,
It's like a special edition of the podcast. So when I said that's what Peter Dinklage feels like, what I was referring to was his height. He's a short man, and everywhere he looks are people's crutches.
Anyway, so in the movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger's in this massive ball pit.
Yes.
And it reminded me of this thing that happened when my little brother got in a ball pit.
Yeah.
And he was like 5, and he decided that he needed to go to the toilet, and no one would notice if he just had a bit of a pee in there.
In the ball pit.
Yeah, I would never go in a ball pit now.
That's a risk you take.
Because I think a lot of children probably just do that.
When you get in the ball pit.
In the ball pit.
What do you like better, armpits or leg pits?
Or ball pits.
Ball pits. Same thing. Howard offers to buy the kid candy, and he's called a creep and a pervert by his mother. But then, ironically, he meets a dwarf dressed as an elf, and he meets Santa, and he accuses Santa of being a pervert.
Howard stared at the Santa in disbelief. "Forget it," he sneered. "I'm not sitting on your lap."
And he gets taken to this seedy Santa warehouse where they offer him a doll for $300. But Howard examined the doll, then gingerly pressed one of the buttons on its back. Santa suddenly panicked. "No, don't!" An authoritative electronic voice boomed out of the doll. In Korean. Santa shot Howard a sickly smile and said lamely, "That's the multilingual version. It's fun and educational." Howard threw the doll on the floor.
Again, really extreme reaction.
I know, it's like he doesn't want his proud American fist-fighting son playing with any Korean crap.
Jeez.
Like, doesn't want him accidentally learning something. And like, wouldn't the imported Korean Turbo Man be coveted? Isn't that, like, special? Wouldn't that be a good thing?
It'd be cool. Except in the movie, the doll actually doesn't say Korean, because I looked up it's Turbo Time in Korean.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be Goy Toy Boy Shigan. But in the film, it says Su Tiempo de Turbo.
Do you know what that translates
It's
to?
Spanish. It's Turbo Time.
In Spanish?
So it's actually Spanish instead. Yeah, they didn't want it to be as foreign in the film.
Didn't do the
They
research.
changed it to Spanish. They're too lazy to figure out what it is in Korean.
And if you thought that his reaction was extreme before, Howard exploded. He grabbed Santa by the front of his costume and threw him into a sack of boxes. A roar of outrage arose from the other Santas, followed by...
He blocked a high-flying kick from a Kung Fu Santa, then spun him around and threw him at an onrushing row of assorted Santas. Around the edge of the fight, Mrs. Clauses?
Santa Claus.
I am Santa Claus. Mrs. Clauses started to take bets from the elves and the non-combatant Santas.
Yeah, and then basically Howard murders them all.
I wonder if this is just an excuse for Arnold to be violent. Because he does that pretty well in his movie.
He's pretty good at it, at the violence.
And again, the gender roles with Mrs. Clauses.
You're taking
Not getting
the
in the
bets.
fights. Not getting bashed up and thrown against walls.
Well, they should be hitting people with their rolling pins. Tying them up in their apron strings. I'm surprised there's not a spin-off film starring Kung Fu Santa. I mean,
yeah, that'd be awesome.
That sounds like a Hollywood holiday classic. And then we have a photo section. Been a long time since we've had one of these. Basically pictures of Schwarzengger leering and jumping. He's all bug-eyed, like you were saying. There's a picture of him up to his chin in balls. There's a picture of him bathed in the blood of 100 Santas that he's just murdered. And then it ends with this, like, family publicity photo of him with his wife and Jake Lloyd. I think I might cut that out, put it in a frame, put it on the mantelpiece this Christmas.
Something really creepy about that.
Quite a nice family. And I just had a thought, is he going to pick up a Turbo Man for his illegitimate love child that he had with his maid as well?
What illegitimate love child? Oh, did he really have an illegitimate love child? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Governor Schwarzenegger
Yeah.
has illegitimate child.
Who is your daddy and what does he do? So he yells at his son on the phone, gets him upset, and then goes and has coffee with Myron.
And then Myron talks about how he never forgave his old man for not getting him a toy he wanted, and then how the children who get the toys they want end up being billionaires, and the children who don't get the toys they want for Christmas end up being, quote, some loser with no future, unquote. Yikes.
Yeah, a lot of great values there from Sinbad.
Yeah.
And then there's another half-baked opportunity to win a Turbo Man. This time it's a radio competition, and it's the first to name all 7 reindeer. Like, again, this entire film, from sourcing the doll, winning the competition, everything could be solved with an iPhone. Everyone is calling in. They're fucking up the reindeer names. They're suggesting Randy, Jermaine, Tito, Lancer, Flasher, Nixon, Clunge Clopper. And then Schwarzenegger bursts into the radio station before Myron, but Myron has...
What's that? Asked Howard, staring at the box.
That, my friend, is a homemade explosive device.
A bomb?
In layman's terms, yes, a bomb.
Howard gawked. You build a bomb?
So this was when terrorism was still funny in 1996.
I was was thinking about that. That would never fly.
No.
In a film now.
Used to
Especially what happens next.
Jokes about terrorism, have a big old laugh. Now it's like, oh, okay, that's not funny anymore. Turns out it's really just a
It's
music
too soon.
box.
It's too soon.
Howard responds in the typical American way.
Myron flashed a sheepish grin just before Howard launched himself at the mailman and pinned him to the wall. "You twisted little worm," he snarled, drawing his fist back to launch a haymaker.
Yeah, make hay while the sun shines. I noticed in the film he also threatens to beat up the DJ, the radio DJ as well. Just punches all his problems in the face.
And it works.
It does, to be fair. You might be onto something.
Violence is the answer, everyone.
Especially when, when the cops show up, Myron whips another package out of his sack, and that turns out to really be a bomb, and it blows up the cops. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? There's going to be, a corridor painted with entrails and, a, dented black and silver cop badge just rotating on the floor and coming to a stop. But no.
On the 10th floor, the smoke slowly cleared to reveal a crowd of cops, as sooty as the coal miners, but otherwise unharmed.
Okay, so this is just basically a big old cartoon, apparently.
Yeah.
And then there's more ruminating on masculinity with the driver on the way home.
Howard tried again. "Oh, Liz, I'm so sorry. I didn't get one. I failed as a husband. I failed as a father. Can you ever forgive me?"
The driver looked over at Howard with a disgusted look. "Why don't you just put on a dress and weep like a little girl?" he sneered. Which is not in the film. Is this the Weisses, just editorializing about what makes a man and a woman or a girl a girl?
I wonder if it was cut out of the film. Or
Could be. It could have been in the original script and it never made it to the edit. So it might not be their fault. But whoever's fault it was, it's pretty fucked up.
Could have been a reference to the movie Junior, where Arnold becomes a pregnant lady.
Maybe this is a prequel, yeah. And
wait, was this before that movie?
I don't know. But maybe he's like, maybe I will have a dress and I will have a little baby out of my mangina.
I'm a woman.
I'm a woman now.
I'm a real woman.
My nipples are very sensitive. So, Maniac Schwarzengger breaks into neighbor Ted's house and steals the Turbo Man from under the tree. And he's attacked by the reindeer, which runs into the house for some reason.
With the reindeer hard on his heels, Howard sprinted into the kitchen and swung on into the living room. He slipped on the polished wood floor and ploughed into the nativity scene. The head of a wise man flew off his shoulders and into the fireplace.
Yes, this is another one of those American films where the asshole protagonist just fucks up everybody else's shit purely because there's something that he wants.
Yeah.
He feels justified. I'm doing it for my family, so
I'm doing
that's
it
okay.
for my family.
But everybody has a family, and if everybody acted like an asshole to do things for the family, which is what they do, that's why the world's a fucked up place.
Especially America.
Stop being an asshole. Don't break into your neighbour's fucking...
He's committing a crime.
And set their Balthazar on fire. And the head of this wise man catches fire, starts to burn the rug, so Howard kicks the flaming head out of the window and into some carolers.
Even better, he's setting people on fire. Accompanied by the sound of shattering glass, the flaming bearded head landed at the feet of the carolers, who immediately screamed and scattered.
Now, it's not in the book, but in the film, if this wasn't all fucked up enough, he punches the reindeer in the face, knocks it out. The reindeer hits the ground, rolls its eyes, and he goes, "You started it."
Well, I've got the RSPCA. It's just like, this is out of control.
Yeah.
They should be called about this, man.
Peter, not happy. His wife catches him in the act. She's totally pissed off, and she ditches Howard and goes to the Wintertainment pageant with neighbour Ted instead. He might be slipping her a candy cane before this is all over after all.
Yeah.
And although the film is set in 1996, or made in 96, the parade is totally an 80s fantasy according to the book here.
An array of life-size toys danced and marched in front of them. Raggedy Ann and Andy waltzed circles around a strutting Mr. Machine. A row of Nutcracker soldiers skirmished with a troop of G.I. Joes. There were Monopoly game pieces, Cabbage Patch Kids, even a monster-sized Etch-a-Sketch. In a pink Corvette rode Ken and Barbie.
And we already saw the toy shelf, so this isn't really reflective of what was on there. I mean, where's Ghost Rider on his Hell Cycle, or Todd McFarlane's Violator, like walking down the crowd going, "I'm going to violate you children, I'm going to violate the shit out of you." And actually, in the film, it is better because the film shows Leonardo, it shows the Tick, Hello Kitty, Snoopy, Sonic the Hedgehog, Gumby's there.
Gumby!
There's even a dude made out of Duplo. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And Ted tries to kiss Liz and wants to see how clean she is, and throws she throws the contents of a thermos into his face.
Whoa.
And then Howard, running into the parade, bumps into the police officer who tries to draw his gun and I guess shoot him.
Yeah, it's pretty extreme.
Bumping into him.
They love violence in this film.
They do. And then Howard escapes the police by heading into a warehouse. He gets mistaken for the actor who was going to play Turbo Man in the parade and gets put into the costume.
Daylight filled the shaft as the float moved out into the street. Howard looked down at himself for the first time and recognized the red and gold costume that he was wearing. Oh my, he couldn't believe. I'm Turbo Man.
And Booster, the pink saber-toothed tiger, is played by Booger from Revenge of the Nerds. I thought that was pretty crazy.
Oh, cool.
Can't remember that guy's name. Kurt something, I think.
Booger.
And the crowd, they wanted a Booster. They got a Booger by mistake. Oh, well.
Booger Booster.
The crowd goes nuts when the float appears, and Howard isn't sure what to do at first, and then...
He spread his legs in his superhero pose.
Sounds like he confused superhero with stripper, right?
Yeah. Where's his pole?
And Howard has a special golden limited edition Turbo Man that he gets to give to a special child. I thought it was pretty crappy, though, that it wasn't in its box. And he totally picks his own idiot kid to give it to, which is
That's
nepotism.
terrible.
Usually competitions
That's
don't
not
allow
fair
for that.
at all.
Not
Yeah.
fair for the other kids. The shitty contest is obviously rigged. But then, Dementor attacks.
Dementor wasn't following the script, but he was acting in character. He grabbed Jamie and yanked him close.
Okay, kid, he growled. Give me the doll and nobody gets hurt.
Turbo Man stared at Dementor and gasped, Myron? Get down or I'll put you down. Then he turns to Jamie and says, come with me if you want to live.
It's really like a Arnold Schwarzenegger greatest hits album, isn't it? Because you know in Conan he punches a camel, I think he punches a camel.
Oh, really?
And in this he punches a reindeer.
He has a history of animal abuse.
There are Terminator references. It's just a bit of
I
everything.
added some of this stuff in.
I wish he really did say that. But
That would have been awesome.
He says I'll be back in other movies, though.
He
doesn't
never says I'll be back. I added that in.
But doesn't he do it in other movies other than Terminator?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But not this one, unfortunately. I just added it in because I thought it would be funny.
Oh, you're so clever. Now you're explaining your jokes. This is a good, it's a good podcast.
But no one will get it because no one will ever read the book.
That's true.
They will never know that it wasn't a cool book.
No. So look, no one mentions that Dementor is now suddenly black, and this idiot 8-year-old can't recognise the mangled accent or huge gap-toothed grin of his own frigging father because he's wearing, like, a helmet which has his entire bottom half of his face showing. Very distinct bottom half of his face.
Yeah.
And then, now look, I want you to listen to this. Don't read this out. I want you to listen, and this is the thing that worries me most about this film, and this is the thing that shocked me. I was talking before about gender roles and stuff. I was talking about the homophobia and this idea that maybe Booster was an emasculating thing. You know, they didn't like him because he was a pink fluffy tiger. Myron spun and punched Booster smack in the middle of his furry pink face. The saber-toothed tiger fell down the slopes of the float and tumbled into the street. Immediately, a horde of kids ducked under and around the barricades to pummel the sidekick. The rest of the crowd booed enthusiastically. So I'm thinking, like seriously, is this because he's pink? Is this a hate crime? Like, it's like this Booster guy is like Jar Jar Binks 3 years before Jar Jar Binks even existed.
Yeah, it's weird.
But then I watched in the film, I'm thinking there's no way the kids jump out and start beating him up in the film. They do, and one of them says, "We don't like you, fag."
What?
Yeah.
I actually didn't make it that far because I was...
Yeah.
I was watching the film at 10:30.
Well, I was half watching it, and I just immediately stopped and looked up and went, there is no way he just said that.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
And I rewound it, and I'm like, I really swear he says this. And then I Googled it, and there's a lot of people reacting to the fact that this happens. And you can see the clip of just that 15 seconds or so on the thing. Like, that's the most awful thing. And this was 1996 as well.
That's crazy.
That's horrifying. And like in a family Christmas movie
Yeah.
as well. And isn't that like the most harmful thing to have something like that snuck into a movie like this?
Yeah, it's so
and
subliminal
naturalised
almost.
and- yeah. and actually seen. It's also played for comedy.
Yeah,
it's supposed
funny.
to be funny that they're calling him a fag and beating him up.
I thought it was unnecessary in the book for the kids to come out and
Yeah,
beat up this thing.
Yeah.
Let alone the film have all this other crap about it as well.
and then if it's even worse, is like on that YouTube clip. Of course, there are half the comments are defending it, saying.
Really?
Yeah, but it's funny and people talk like that and what's the matter? And like, no, fuck you,
Yeah.
Jingle All the Way. That is shitty. So sorry to bring everything down.
It's a pretty
But
depressing podcast.
there is a big dumb fight and it includes stuff like this.
Myron felt the whap, whap, whap of impact on his arms, chest, and face.
Lucky it wasn't a fap on his chest and face, am I right? And speaking of nut shots, though,
Jamie flexed into a karate stance and dropped Myron with a well-placed kick below the belt. He followed through by leaping off the float, leaving Myron on his knees with his eyes bugged wide. And then Jamie should have said, "Hey, do you want to be a farmer? Here's a couple of acres."
here's a couple of acres is my favourite Schwarzengger line. That is my favourite one. I can't even remember what film that's in, but yeah,
It was good.
gives him a couple of acres. Howard does some crazy shit on the jetpack. He turns to Myron and says, "Come on."
Do it now! Come on, kill me, I'm here! Come on, do it now! Kill me!
Now you're adding all these quotes in. I reckon, like, when he rolled over and looked at his wife, he should have said, "You are one ugly motherfucker."
That would have been awesome.
Look, here's a dumb joke that probably cost $1 million to film. The family that lived in the apartment was quietly eating at a long dinner table. The father, sitting at the head of the table and totally absorbed in his food, said, "Could you pass the salt?" Suddenly, Howard shot through the door at the end of the room, snatched up the salt shaker at the end of the table, dropped it in front of the father's plate, and then zoomed on out the door behind the man, all in under a second.
Oh, God.
Does not happen in the film. I think he just bursts.
Oh, really?
Well, he just bursts through and interrupts their dinner. He doesn't, like, pass the salt along the table, which is pretty
Maybe they gave up.
ridiculous. Yeah. So Myron is defeated and the cops all point their guns at him. I'm very disappointed they just don't shoot him in cold blood in front of all these children at the parade. Howard reveals his true identity to his clearly clueless family. He should definitely book them all in for eye appointments before the year is out. And Jamie gets his stupid doll, which, as I said, is not even in its original box.
I didn't even notice that in the book.
And maybe that's why Jamie then inexplicably gives the doll to Myron.
But I thought you wanted that doll more than anything, Liz said to her son.
Jamie shrugged. "What do I need the doll for?" He pointed at Howard. "I've got the real Turbo Man at home."
So
Poor substitute.
then
So yes, Christmas Day, Ted comes and apologizes and is made their personal slave. They give him all these chores to do. It's like...
I thought it was pretty bad, like, because hitting on a guy's wife is a crime, not like setting a guy's house on fire while trying to steal from him.
reminded me of Back to the Future where, Biff tries to rape Lorraine and then they give him a job at the house, like waxing the car. It's like, I don't want my wife's would-be rapist hanging around the house all the time doing menial tasks.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. And then Jamie is in a violent frenzy. He wants to know about how his dad kicked butt and he's punching the air. He's getting all excited. And I guess then Jamie didn't get anything for Christmas because he didn't get the doll and he didn't buy him anything else. So
He got his dad.
yeah, I guess he got nothing. Speaking of which, here is the ending.
Liz snuggled closer to Howard and kissed him gently on the cheek. "I can't remember a better Christmas," she murmured.
"I couldn't agree more," said Howard, drawing her close. Jamie flew by again. Howard looked at him lovingly. "From now on, I'm going to spend a little less time with my mattresses and a lot more time with my family. When it comes to you and Jamie, if I snooze, I lose." That's not in the film, thankfully. I don't know about spending a little less time with his mattresses. If he wants to save his family, how about spending a little less time with his mistresses? Am I right?
Liz kissed him warmly and then settled into the curve of his arm. "You know, Howard, I've been thinking too," she began. "Everything you went through today for Jamie, well, it really shows how much you love him.
Howard nodded, basking in the praise.
And you're willing to do all of that for him, just for a present? Well, it sort of makes me wonder."
What? Said Howard, eyes closed, at peace with the world.
Liz looked up at him coyly. "What did you get me?"
Howard's eyes snapped wide open, panicked. "Just one moment, darling," he muttered nervously.
Howard slowly and steadily walked up the stairs, unlocked the drawer of his dresser, took out the carefully concealed pistol and shot himself in the face.
Like, I might have added that sentence.
"Consider that a divorce."
That's another great line. I love that one. And he shoots Sharon Stone in Total Recall. Yeah. Consider that a divorce. You started it. Who is your daddy and what does he do? Okay. Look, I gotta ask, because I always do at this point. Was the book better?
You know, I didn't finish watching the film, but the film was better. Even the half of it I watched.
Schwarzengger doing comedy is just incredibly entertaining.
He's just amazing. He makes the film.
Awful, but you can't stop watching.
Yeah. I don't think I would have liked the film as much if the Schwarzengger was not in it.
Oh, no, absolutely. Well,
he made it.
As Larry the Cable Guy proves in Jingle All the Way too, it's not quite the same.
Have you watched Jingle All the Way too?
I may have.
What, seriously?
Yeah.
On cinema?
No, I don't think it's out of the cinema.
DVD.
I think it's just streaming and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
How about some Amazon reviews?
All right.
They're not too exciting, but here we go.
As this book is a novelized version of the film Jingle All the Way, the English would not be difficult and the presentation is humorous. The content is somehow similar to the film, and of course this book is preferred to children rather than adults because of its simple English and story structure. As a father or mother of your children, you would not want them to see novels which are violent or sex-related. Therefore, this book is your choice. Every child has their own expectation to Santa Claus, and maybe they will like this simple family-based story. For me, the book is quite interesting and simple enough for non-English speakers like me. The Father Arnold is cute and interesting. Also, the description phrases are good, and if you are not a native speaker of English, you will find this book a good introduction to begin your reading of English books. Yeah, if you're going to start reading English literature, you know, all the books that have been written so far, you had to choose one to get started. Jingle All the Way, not a bad choice.
The description phrases are good.
They are. Schwarzengger is quite interesting.
And cute.
He's a bit of a handsome man. Likes the ladies. And the other thing that I liked is, you know, you don't want kids to read violent novels. So
This is pretty violent.
read this book where our hero punches everybody in the face.
And there's a bomb that goes off.
Bloated body, strangling, etc. Must have had a little bit of a snooze during that bit. Maybe bought a
Maybe
new
they didn't understand it.
comfy mattress.
It's a non-English speaking.
Snoozed and loosed.
Maybe they actually read a different book.
And this is the other Amazon.
I had no idea this classic movie was based on a book. As far as I can tell, this is the best book-to-movie adaptation I've ever read. Great for children's and children's at heart. Yes.
Children's at heart. Are you a children's at heart?
So this poor person got confused, chicken and egg confusion, thought that this book was written first and was so good that they had to make a movie on. And they went, this guy on the cover looks a lot like Arnold Schwarzenegger. We'll cast him in the film.
That's hilarious.
And
It's classic. It's a classic movie.
now
Did you
look-
like how they called it classic?
Yeah, it is a classic. Best book-to-movie adaptation I've ever read. Well, excuse me, Amazon reviewer, but you haven't done 107 episodes of a podcast. I think I'm in a better position to say whether this is the best book-to-movie adaptation.
But you haven't done book-to-movie adaptations. You've done movie-to-book adaptations.
Fuck, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm going to need some time to counsel with my client before I go any further.
Is there another review?
No, that was it. Fizzled out. Well, Merry Christmas, Sabrina. How was that? Aren't we just the gift that keeps on giving?
Yeah. I thought this was going to be a silly book, but I think our podcast ended up being more serious than the Maleficent one.
Well, we're very serious people.
Clearly.
Yes.
Clearly.
Yes.
Clearly.
Yes. Anything else you want to add for the listener out there? I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. There's more Christmas programming coming up next week. I'm going to tell you what it is. It's Jack Frost. That's the movie where Michael Keaton turns into a snowman after he dies.
Not the horror movie?
No, not the one where Shannon Elizabeth gets buggered by a snowman in the shower.
That would be awesome.
That would, wouldn't it? And please listen to the other podcasts. Rate and review this on iTunes. Listen to FPcast and Scarjo a Go-Go. Go to fruitlesspursuits.com. You'll find everything you need to find there, including links to the discussion pages on Facebook. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for coming back so soon, Sabrina. Lovely to have you here.
No problem. It was very fun doing Arnold.
Yes.
Arnold, impersonation voice thing.
Can you sing Jingle Bells in Arnold's voice?
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
God, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey! Hey, put it down! Put the bells down!
Come on! Put it down!
Get to the sleigh! You won't take me to the North Pole? To the chimney?
He would get stuck in that chimney, wouldn't he, with all those muscles?
Yeah.
Die in there.
Governator.
Do you want to say the thing? The outro? Do you remember it?
See you on the flips.
Close enough.
What is it? I'll do it again.
Yeah, catch you on the flips. It's semantics at this point, right?
Catch you on the flips.
Perfect.
Where's the Jumanji?
Oh.
Do you not do that anymore?
Yeah, I will. I can. What about a Christmas version? Say it one more time.
Catch you on the flips.
Jingle Manji.